Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Multiple sources tell the Washington Post Trump has grown increasingly upset about Harris's surging poll numbers.
Trump is, quote, complaining relentlessly.
Posting multiple times on social media, clearly frustrated with Biden's decision to step aside, saying, quote, now we have to start all over again.
Not fair! Jesus! A month ago, he was basically already the president. He had cheated death, started a new ear accessory trend. Back then, people thought his VP selection was a smart choice. He had it all in the bag. But now, instead of enjoying the fruit of 6 years of Biden attacks, Trump's got to start all over again. And the audience has to literally sit through him getting up to speed.
There are numerous ways of saying her name. You can say Kamala, you can say Kamala.
Trump misspelled Harris's first name as Kamala.
I get Kamala. I get Kamala. Kamala? But you know what? I guess what Trump calls her isn't as important as figuring out what she is.
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black. So I don't know, is she Indian or is she black?
She has always identified as a black woman. She went to a historically black college.
I respect either one, but she obviously doesn't, because she was Indian all the way, and then all of a sudden she made a turn, and she became a black person.
Just to be clear, sir, do you believe that she is...
I think somebody should look into that, too.
What am I gonna do with all my Indian ethnic slurs I was gonna use? But she made a turn into black. He talks about it like she wandered into the wrong neighborhood. Like she was driving on the Upper West Side, and then boom, she's in Harlem. Forget the biographical stuff for now. Let's focus on the issues.
In history, for any country, nobody's had crowds like I have. I have hundreds of thousands of people, but she has 1,000 people or 1,500 people, and they say, oh, the enthusiasm's back.
Okay. That's one of those mom and pop issues for the single issue crowd size voter. I'd move on, but you've got more?
He wrote, has anyone noticed that Kamala cheated at the airport? There was nobody at the plane, and she AI'd it and showed a massive crowd of so-called followers, but they didn't exist. He goes on to say she's a cheater, she had nobody waiting, and the crowd looked like 10,000 people.
Oh, my God. The point is this. Donald Trump doesn't need the fake news media and their AI crowd shots to win this thing. Because he's got inside information on Kamala Harris from someone she used to date.
Well, I know Willie Brown very well. In fact, I went down in a helicopter with him. We thought maybe this is the end. We were in a helicopter going to a certain location together, and there was an emergency landing. This was not a pleasant landing, and Willie was, he was a little concerned. But he told me terrible things about her.
You were in a helicopter with former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown, who famously dated Kamala Harris. And while the helicopter was going down, as you were plunging to your imminent death, former San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown turns to you and says, this might not mean anything to you now, but Do you remember that lady I was going out with? The prosecutor. Well, before we die, I just want you to know she's the worst. I do not want to meet my maker without giving you that piece of information. If you survive, you may need it. Oh, my God! I got to tell you, I'm sure a moment like that was seared not only into the memory of Donald Trump, but also into the memory of former Mayor Willie Brown.
Have you ever been in a helicopter that made an emergency landing with Donald Trump?
No.
Have you ever been in a helicopter with Donald Trump?
No.
You have no memory of anything like that ever happening?
No.
That is so up. That I'm sure that is not what happened. What are the chances Trump is just mixing up his black people?
Two people on board that chopper say Trump's forgetting a key detail. Brown was never there. Instead, Los Angeles Councilman Nate Holden says he was on the chopper with Trump.
Oh, my God! Do you know what this means? Nate Holden, former Los Angeles City Council member, told Donald Trump as their helicopter was going down bad things about Kamala Harris that I guess Willie Brown had told him if they knew each other. That is the only explanation, right? Hey! Donald Trump is not racist. He just meets a lot of people on death helicopters. He's trying out some good catastrophizing on Harris.
If Harris wins this election, you will quickly have a crash like in 1929. We could end up in World War III. The suburbs will be overrun.
Boom. That's what I'm talking about. Stock market crash, World War III, suburbs destroyed. It's fresh. It's new. We haven't heard. What was that? I'm sorry.
Joe Biden is a failed president. She was a failed vice president. The worst president in the history. The worst vice president in history. He's incompetent. She's incompetent. Everything he's touched has been bad. Everything she's touched has turned to bad things. We can't talk. She can't talk. In many ways, he's worse than Bernie. She's worse than Bernie. Low IQ. He's a low IQ individual. She happens to be really a low IQ individual. She really does. She has a very low IQ.
This is just a remix? This is bullshit, man. This is like when Elton John changed like 3 words and then pretended Candle in the Wind was always about Diana. It wasn't. Very disrespectful to Maryland. Here's the problem. Even when Trump does figure out how to come at Kamala, it's not really landing, because most of the time, the bad stuff he's saying about her applies even more to him.
If Kamala will lie to you so brazenly about Joe Biden's mental incapacity, then she will lie to you about anything. She can never, ever be trusted.
Yes, Donald Trump is telling America not to elect a liar. Donald Trump is saying that. Don't elect a liar. I mean, for God's sakes, he's like the Michael Jordan of lying. Or as Trump would say it, the Willie Brown of lying.